Hello everybody, welcome to another exciting edition of the Ground Zero Lounge with Clyde Lewis. It's been a couple of months since we were here last, and hopefully we'll have some more people come out this evening. But for those of you who haven't seen Clyde in action here, the Ground Zero Lounge is pretty unique because what Clyde does, normally in his shows, his radio shows, which are Monday through Friday from 7 to midnight, and they're on KXL 101.1. What he does is he takes current topics, and so let's say there's a political topic. We don't really get into politics per se, but we get into parapolitics, which are the deeper aspects, sort of the underbelly or the esoteric level of really what's going on in the world. So that's really what makes Ground Zero unique. Once in a while we'll have a guest on the show, or a couple of guests, like we did last night with the Frankenskies from Cough to Coffin. We had two great guests last night who are activists on chemtrails. But we weren't just talking about chemtrails per se. Clyde was really getting into, why do they exist? What kind of effects do they have on us? So it's really a great investigative type of show. And so with the Ground Zero Lounge, that's what he does too, but with a little bit more flair. So at this time, I'd like to introduce to you Clyde Lewis. Come on up, Clyde.
Oh, is that one? We'll use this one instead. Thank you all for coming out.
Works a lot better.
Yeah, it does work a lot better, doesn't it? That's a good thing. Works a lot better. I'm glad that the weather's nice, because we were worried that we'd have to cancel tonight because of snow, and they keep telling us we're gonna have snow. It's a conspiracy to sell Les Schwab tires. So it's a conspiracy.
It really is.
I mean, one snowflake falls in Troutdale, and everybody's like going, "Wait a minute, gotta get my Les Schwab tires. Go buy some chains. Go buy one of those stupid things we put on the spigot outside." I couldn't believe this. I remember when I first came to Portland, they were selling these little styrofoam things. Like, what the hell are these things for? Oh, to put on your faucet so it doesn't freeze. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right? You gotta be kidding. I mean, yeah, they have them here. And I said, they gotta be kidding me, because they use the same styrofoam to put ice in, to put your Cokes and your beer in. Right. Doesn't make any sense. And you can't recycle it.
Right.
Those things don't get broken down. They're just immediately, they just sit there and sit there and sit there. Use it later to plant something in or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, I got to thinking about what I wanted to share with you tonight, and I got to thinking about Super Bowl Sunday, and that's tomorrow. And really, if the Seahawks aren't playing, I don't give a shit, but that's the way it goes. I don't care. But one thing I do care about with the Super Bowl, as I do every year, is I don't know if anybody really knows this. Maybe you do. Maybe it's something that's been subtle all this time. Who knows? But the Super Bowl, for everyone, isn't just a game. It's a social engineering exercise. And the reason why is because most of the country is watching the Super Bowl, and they know that most of the country is watching the Super Bowl, so this is their opportunity to socially engineer opinion, and to also socially engineer the future in a way, to give you an idea of what the future is all about. Now, I'm going to say this to you, and if you watch the Super Bowl tomorrow, you're going to be watching in a whole different light. You're going to be watching the halftime show, and you're going to be saying to yourself, what's Lady Gaga doing? What's she going to say to us? What is she going to present? What is she going to preach to us? The commercials that will be airing during the Super Bowl are also part of the social engineering process, because it's the propaganda that most certainly is going to reach everybody, and everybody's going to see the propaganda, and it'll be there to create something called the revelation of the method, or predictive programming. We live in such a hyper-reality state that the Super Bowl is a place to plug in for the hyper-reality and also to respond to the propaganda they present. Now, I've already got an indication of as to what some of the social engineering is going to be, and I will kid you not, I know that as the deep state has lost in their bid for globalization in this country to get us ready for globalization, the Super Bowl is not going to give up. The Super Bowl is not going to give up, and the people participating in the Super Bowl are not going to give up because they're going to dangle at you the difference. They're going to say to you, you know, look at the way we are now. Look at the mess we're in now. No more are we going to be being all fun-loving and talking about uniting. We're going to talk about division some more. We're going to talk about how people are unhappy. We're going to talk about how the future is going to be one big exercise in police state lifestyle. And once again, I talked about this a couple days, maybe a week ago, about the idea of a police state lifestyle. And I did, but last time I was here, I think I said something about getting used to it. You know, don't get over it, but get used to it. Because this is what we're in now. And the hard part is trying to get used to this police state lifestyle for me living here in Portland, Oregon. I know that many people who aren't here, who don't live here, but live in other places. I mean, the other night when Berkeley was attacked, because Milo was speaking there. Now, I don't like Milo. Never have liked Milo, and I don't care if it's free speech or not. The guy's an asshole. But I guess assholes have a right to speak too. Look at me. No, I'm just kidding. But assholes have a right to speak too. But, I mean, we know that, you know, he's going to speak, but why do we destroy a school? And you hear Donald Trump saying, well, I'm going to cut their funds if they don't allow a guy to speak with unpopular language. Well, that's the whole point. They don't want Donald Trump to speak because of his unpopular language. There's a war. The war has been declared, and the deep state has declared that war, and it's highly financed. And the Super Bowl is going to be one big social engineering experiment. It's going to be a psyop.
What's next? Kent State?
You know, it's funny. This is what's really scary. So you bring up Kent State. I had somebody send me an email prior to the Berkeley incident. And they said to me, Clyde, do you think another Kent State's going to happen? And I said, well, no, they asked me on the air actually about Kent State. And I said, that was horrible. That was a tragedy. That was ugly. 4 people killed in Ohio, Kent State University. And I said, I hope we never see another thing like that again. And then all of a sudden Berkeley happens. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, this is going to happen again. And once again, it confirms my suspicions about history. History rhymes. It rhymes because no sooner was I asked about Kent State than the Berkeley incident took place. And Berkeley, there'll be several other Berkeleys. There'll be several other colleges that one day there's going to be a group of people that are going to be protesting, and then something's going to happen where a group of kids are all going to be shot.
You can't forget Reed College.
Yeah, and can't forget Reed, you can't forget the other colleges. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You have to watch and wait and see how all this is going down. We, as I said earlier, before Donald Trump was made president, I said, look at what is being left for Donald Trump to work with. And I said, what's going to happen is it's most certainly going to be disenchanting for a lot of people to see him try and maintain the fires that were started prior to him being president. Now, this isn't a support for Donald Trump because I don't give a shit about either. But what I'm saying is that when you look at politics, when you look at how parapolitical we've become, and what I mean by parapolitical is I'm saying parapolitical, when I talk about parapolitics, what I'm talking about is the treachery, the treasonous activity, the impunity that goes on behind the scenes, and it's done in equal amounts. And people who are so hyper-sensitive or hyper-partisan, they don't want to believe that both sides are right now creating a war that will no sooner, or it will, more or less, bring us into a position where the deep state will come and say, we will rescue you from all your peril. Because if both sides of the fence, if both sides of government are not getting along, whether it be the right or the left or the polarization or whatever's going on, if they don't get along, someone will step in and make them get along. And what that means is they will dissolve the differences by bringing back old-fashioned fascism, bringing back old-fashioned communism, bringing back old-fashioned something. And you know, everybody, when I say this to them, they say, oh, America's too big to fail. We can't fail here. We can't. It's not about failure. It's about the generated, it's the generated dissonance. It's the generated,
Not gonna happen here.
no, it's not going to happen here, is it? It's already happening. When the president declared the refugee or the immigrant, when he signed that immigrant policy for 90 days, when he did that, you had 2 judges say, no, we're going to not have this happen. And then, after they did this, 2 judges defied the president, and then the Border Patrol defied the judges. And then some judge in Washington stopped it, and now they're abiding by it. But are they abiding by it? So when you have judges, and when you have Border Patrol defy judges, and judges defy the president, and mayors and governors defy the president, say, we will not stand by the president, what do you call that? It's called sedition. It's called insurrection when you bring guns to the party. It's called insurrection when you bring Molotov cocktails to the party. It's called insurrection when you fire upon the police. And so the other night when I said, what do we call this? Do I have to come right out and say it? Civil war. That's exactly what it is. When we're so divided that it doesn't matter who we destroy, it doesn't matter who we throw down, then we need to understand that this is a civil upheaval. I mean, our civil, the way we treat each other. I think it was Robert Heinlein who wrote, you can always tell a civilization by the way they treat each other. I think it's Robert Heinlein. Maybe it wasn't Robert Heinlein, maybe it was somebody else. Because I'm trying to think of my authors here, but
Let's Google it.
yeah, let's Google it. Somebody Google it. Was it Robert Heinlein said that? Yes. Was it Robert Heinlein?
Yes, it was Robert Heinlein, and what he said through a character was that there are many signs of a sick society, and a lot of them have been named, like people being racist, sexist, being always up in arms about something. Lot of different signs.
Yeah.
He said, but the sign of a dying culture. Sign of a dying culture is the disappearance of politeness and common human decency.
That's exactly right. And, you know, you can look around you, and while you're having that feeling of dissonance, while you're having that feeling of being lost, while you have that feeling, I mean, I've had people come to me and say they can't sleep at night. Hell, I can't sleep at night. And it's not because I'm worried about Trump. It's because I'm worried about people. I'm worried about how they, and the thing is that for years, I warned people. I said, listen, you know, I've been doing Ground Zero lounges for years. I've been doing the Ground Zero show for 20 years. And it wasn't until after 9/11, I started saying, look at what's happening to your civil rights. Do you think they're ever going to give you power once they take it? Because once power is taken, it's never relinquished. And all these other things, the NDAA being passed, the Patriot Acts 1 and 2 being passed, pre-crime policing, thought crime, hate crime, all these crimes, putting more crimes on the books, making things you can't do more than you can do, and then watching the response. And the response has always been, this is what we don't stand for, not what we do stand for. It's like, we know what we like, but we don't like you. We don't like Muslims. We don't like Latinos. We don't like Jews. I mean, we know what we don't like. We like this and we like that. You know, and that's why I say to myself, what do we like? What do we stand for? No. What's bullshit?
We don't like anybody, basically.
We don't. Well, yeah, obviously. What?
We like everybody.
Who?
Americans like everybody, they've accepted everybody.
Really?
But the thing is,
Yeah.
though, is that when they have a
Okay, well,
Tell me when they did.
what's that?
Tell me any race or nationality or anything they haven't accepted. Tell me.
Americans Americans have been that way,
Yeah,
but we're not anymore.
really.
Really.
Tell me how.
It's not affecting you, sir. I know it's not because you're angry at what I'm
Tell
saying.
me how.
How?
Yeah.
Have you seen the riots in the streets?
Yeah. Yeah, but it isn't because it's snowflakes and
We-
wash. We
it's-
still accept them.
Do we still? No, we don't.
Oh, yeah.
I do a talk show. I hear people all the time. I get mail all the time saying that people are angry, sir.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
Okay, so yeah, they're angry because they don't like certain people. We have ideas of what we want to do with people we don't like. And you know that.
No.
No, you don't, do you? No.
No, wait a minute. You're saying that every American hates
We are divided.
coming in.
We are divided, sir.
We are.
Yes.
We are definitely divided.
Yes, okay, so,
But we got to find a way to get around that
Yes.
and saying that
yes,
what you just said
right.
that Americans hate everybody that comes in.
Everybody,
Not right.
everybody is hating each other. They hate on something.
Because they're hating themselves.
Yes, because you're right. She's right. We have been drugged through the mud for the longest time here, and here's, a lot of people have.
Well, a lot has.
Right, the majority have. That's why they voted for Donald Trump.
Wanted to
Yeah, you
change.
get tired of being that fucking little bottom liner guy. You know what I'm
They
saying?
voted for
So,
Trump
you can sit
because
there
they
and
got tired of being dragged through the mud.
We don't hate everybody. What it is that if I gotta follow the laws, so should everybody else. If I get a speeding ticket going down the street, and if I don't pay the ticket, guess what? I lose my license.
Yeah.
But you can come in across this country and get housing, food,
That's
education.
not what I'm talking about.
But what I'm saying, if you come here legally, what
Right.
I'm talking about is
Right,
that's-
illegally is illegally.
But legal is what I'm saying. We don't hate everybody. It's like if you don't sit there and follow the laws that everybody else has to follow, that's where the's a problem because what
Yeah.
makes you better than anybody else?
We're not
That's
saying
there
that.
and
I'm
all
not
that.
saying that. People are angry for reasons other than immigration, and you know that.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
All you're bringing up is immigration. No, he's right. It's not just immigration, man. Are you kidding?
That's the number one thing
No,
that's
it's
being
not.
talked about right now.
No, it's not. No. We're angry. You know why we're angry? We're angry because we're broke. We're angry because we're broke. We're in pain. We're
Everybody
bankrupt.
else, we're paying everybody else to
bankrupt.
hate us.
Huh?
Why we can't even sit there and take care of our veterans.
We need to take care of our
Yes,
veterans. That's
but
why we're
paying everybody
angry.
else to hate us. But then if you sit there and talk bad about those people, damn, you're racist.
So, call me what you want.
Like,
Call me what you want.
No, I
Look.
don't think he called you that.
No, I know that. I know that. I know that. I know that. But see, that's the
Say
thing.
anything, you're a racist.
Well, that's the thing, is that people need to stop the appropriation.
Yes.
Appropriation is evil. You realize that?
Yes.
Appropriation is the worst thing you can be doing right now, and we're doing it.
In the highest degree.
Yes.
We've never gone that far.
And, you know, the thing is that Bill Maher, who I'm not a fan of politically, but he made a very interesting statement about appropriation and about, and I don't mean it in a general sense, I mean it in the idea that everything anymore is hurting people's feelings. Anything anymore you say, what's that? I don't know what's that. I don't know what's that. I'm just saying that people, like for example, when, and he pointed out, and I think it's a very good point, when Carrie Fisher died, Steve Martin sent out a tweet, and he said, "When I met Carrie Fisher, she was a very beautiful creature, and then I found out she was smart too." Basically, what he said was, he said he was so in love with what she looked like that he forgot that she's an intelligent woman, and he's basically saying she's an intelligent woman. But people got so offended by that he had to send out an apology.
that sounded offensive though.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Most men,
She was
he was
smart.
being honest.
What?
He was
that still
being
makes- it
honest.
makes you sound like an idiot though, because if you say she was a beautiful person until I found out she was intelligent too, because
No, what he said was, he said she was a beautiful creature, and then I realized
That
she was smart and intelligent.
so that makes it
Basically
sound
saying,
like it was downgraded.
no, he's basically saying that he saw her as somebody sexual, then he realized that she had a mind, and that was sexual too. That was sexy.
You need to elaborate on those words.
Well, it was a tweet. In 149 characters, we can't express ourselves anymore.
Yeah.
But we try to. We try to, but we can't. I can't. You know, I hate text and I hate tweet because I sound like a total dick when I'm doing it, and I don't like it. People say, "Oh, you know, don't get so soft-skinned," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not soft-skinned. I mean, if you're gonna write me and tell me that I'm a douchebag, how soft-skinned can I be?"
A lot of fights have happened because
Yeah,
of text.
because of text. Yeah.
Because of them. Yep.
Fights break out, friendships break up because of text. I'm unfriending you because of what you said about Donald Trump. I'm unfriending you because of what you said about Hillary Clinton. What a great world we're in right
I
now.
lost 32 friends in the last month and a half.
You lost 32 friends?
Yeah, goddamn right. I call it thinning out the herd.
Right, yes.
Yes, a word on Steve Martin. Steve Martin is one of the greatest comedians of the last half of the 20th century, and one of the reasons that he is that is because he understands irony. He was not just throwing out a chick joke. He was showing us the irony of how so many of us only looked at looks, and then, well, she's smart too, and then it kind of made him think. You can tell by the way he says things in real life when you hear him. He said, what he was saying was, boy, was I a jerk.
Right.
I sure learned something from that. And that's what I believe he meant. You can't get all that in 140
Well,
characters.
How
Well, you're right, and here's another thing. I
That's
remember
ironic.
the other day, Donald Trump
Remember
was,
he was in that movie.
he was speaking at a prayer breakfast. And he got up and he said, if you're going to pray for anyone, pray for Arnold so he gets better ratings on The Apprentice. Okay? And CNN grabbed onto that, and the pastor that was there to do the prayer, very humble man, was there doing the prayer, and Donald Trump said, I don't care what political party you're in, you've got a job forever. That was such a beautiful prayer. To hell with it. You're staying with me. And they caught up on that too. So the minister who Donald Trump said was a humble man who did a great prayer service, he was on CNN. They were interviewing him. And CNN said to him, how do you feel about Donald Trump saying we should pray for Arnold Schwarzenegger and the ratings of The Apprentice? Don't you think that's inappropriate? And you know what the pastor said? I believe he was joking.
Right, we're
And I
supposed to take
shook
it.
my head and I'm going, boy, don't you feel like an ass clown? Yeah, he was joking.
Right.
And see, that's the thing is we've gotten so, feigning this type of anger and upset.
Yeah.
And you see, this is what is going to happen at the Super Bowl. The social engineering is going to be just like this. And what you're going to get afterwards, you're getting a number of people who are all going to be upset by the message. And they're going to go to blogs, and they're going to go to twits, and they're going to go to whatever, and they're going to do this.
Twits.
And you're twits. That's my Twitter
I'm
account.
gonna go to twits.
Twitter is for twits.
I want to twit a twit.
I'm going to go twit my tweeter. Tweet my Twitter or whatever. Sounds dirty.
It really does. It really does.
I'm going to tweet my Twitter tonight. But yeah, they're going to continue to socially engineer this feigning of anger. And the reason why I bring this up too is because of the fact that, how many remember the show that I did about Standing Rock by Applause? Anybody remember that show about Standing Rock? I was the first talk show that took on the Standing Rock issue, the pipeline issue that is happening right now.
Right.
I took on that issue. I had one Native American spokesperson on the show, 3 Native American journalists calling the program, giving us a play-by-play, blow-by-blow account of what is going on at the Dakota Pipeline. I felt that what I did was a good show. We were thorough, we were fair, and we did our best to get that information out that this is what they're not protesters, but they were people who were trying to protect the water from the oil. I received a number of emails, and I received a number of twitting me,
Twits.
telling me that I had no business taking the cause for the indigenous people there because I'm on a conservative talk show station or a conservative station, and that the conservatives are responsible for what is happening. And I wrote back and I said, I'm not a conservative or a liberal. I'm a person who's trying to give a a fair shake to the story. I try to be, as best I can, the fourth estate, which is meaning that I cannot take a side either or, but I can also draw attention to what is going on here and show the injustice that is going on here. Didn't work. They were still attacking me. I thought, why would these American Indians, why would these Native Americans attack me? What have I done? Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Come to find out, no. The people that were attacking me were white Americans, saying I have no business saying anything on behalf of Native Americans. I was thinking, what world do I live in?
Yeah.
So, experience tells me, no way am I going to touch that story anymore, because I was attacked by non-Native Americans telling me I have no business doing this because I'm not Native American, I don't know their pain. I wrote back and said, I don't know their pain, you're right, because I'm not Native American, but I can't understand when injustice is being carried out, when people get their arms blown off, when they're being abused by government. And that is what breaks my heart. Whether they're Indian, whether they're Mexican, whether they're black, it's injustice, okay? And when they decide that they want to hunt police officers, I have a problem with that too. We need to find a way to get that happy medium and make it work. Well, I backed off on the story. Well, I had a friend of mine named Christy. Her and her husband Durga run a business called Invoke, where they specialize in a lot of cool things that deal with the occult and major religions and belief systems. They have things anywhere from Buddhist books to books about witchcraft, books about all this stuff. And so what they did is they wanted to host a class on how to make dream catchers or God's eyes. Okay? And so they sent out flyers and they invited everybody out to come to this thing, and all of a sudden they start getting death threats. And they started getting threats for bombs and attacks, and that they were going to boycott their business, or they were going to go and they were going to vandalize the business. And what it was, those wasn't Native Americans that were pissed off. It was a group of white Americans who said that since the teacher was not Native, that she was exploiting the Native people. And so they had to cancel their class on this making of God's eyes, or making dream catchers, because they weren't being made by Native Americans. They were being made by just people like you and me. Now, this is something that needs to be checked out. And they admitted, and this is what was really sad, they admitted that they were racist. They admitted that they're racist for a good cause. They said that this is for a good cause because they say that the Indian people or the Native American people don't have a voice. And so they're going to be their voice. Whether they like it or not, they're going to be their voice.
Oh my God.
Kind of reminds me of a story. I know it's Black History Month. Reminds me of a story. Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. We just had the holiday a while back, but it's Black History Month. I wish they moved the holiday to February, because I think that that would be more appropriate. Instead of January, we have during Black History Month. It'd mean a lot more, I think. At least that's my idea. Because we used to have a President's Day. We removed that and have a Dr. Martin Luther King Day. That'd be great. Anyway, so Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. There was a school where Dr. King attended, and it was tradition that on Martin Luther King Day, they would have Dr. Martin Luther King's favorite lunch. What do you think that is? Fried chicken and watermelon. That's exactly right. Fried chicken and watermelon.
You win a prize.
And every birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King, the school would get together and they'd have the traditional fried chicken and watermelon at the school. Then one day,
That sounds racist.
then one day, a parent wrote the school and said, my child will not participate in Dr. Martin Luther King's lunch at the school. And when they asked why, the parent said, because I believe that the food you're serving is racist.
See? That's why I said
She
that.
wants attention. That's what it's all
And
about.
so she made a fit about it, and she said, this is racist, fried chicken and watermelon is stereotypical of blacks, blah, 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 blah. And so they successfully killed the tradition at the school,
Sad.
and turns out the woman that protested, some white woman with a mohawk, whose son was being subjected. She wore a mohawk. I mean, some purple mohawk woman was her son no longer, because it was racist for him to eat chicken and watermelon, although it was Dr. Martin Luther King's favorite food.
Well, yeah.
This type of behavior is the reason why I think a lot of people are angry, because these are the vocal ones who we say, get over yourselves. I mean, there's a lot of injustice. And see, the thing that's most sad about this type of attitude is it actually takes away from those things that are very serious. If we're always protesting and people get resistance weary, protests become ineffective. Think about that. If people are always at the courthouse, if people are always in Pioneer Square, if people are always at their colleges and they're always pissed off about everything President Trump does, if they're always pissed off about somebody who's going to be speaking at their college, if they want to remove a name from their college because a president just happened to be a racist or had racist values or whatever, if this continues, the value of this type of protest will be diminished. Because protests should be meaningful. And grievances should be meaningful, not drop of the hat, we finance it, we protest. That's why I think it's about time we should declare war on the Koch brothers and on George Soros. These rich businessmen turned revolution into a cottage industry. They turned victimhood into a cottage industry. You know, if you want a revolution, it's fine. You can pay for it, and they'll make sure it happens. You look at Ukraine. You look at Arab Spring. We are having our color revolution. And this is what was funny. I talked about a color revolution on the air the other night, and I said to this man, I said, you realize we're having a color revolution? And he says, well, I'm not racist. And I shook my head. I says, that's not what a color revolution is, sir. Well, you're saying a colored revolution. I'm going, no, I'm not referring to blacks or Latinos or anyone rising up against us. No, that's not what's happening. I said a color revolution is when you have agencies and special interest groups and lobbies and the deep state financing a coup or a takeover. And it's been done before. If you know history, you know that Franklin Delano Roosevelt, there was a coup attempted against him. And you could read about Smedley Butler, and now he revealed that 50,000 men were recruited by the likes of Henry Ford and Prescott Bush, and they were there to take over FDR, take over the White House, because they wanted Nazi business. And they wanted to deal with businesses and the Nazis, and they wanted to deal with the Nazis, and they wanted to supply the Nazis with money for the Luftwaffe and everything. I mean, behind the scenes, there was this type of malfeasance, and no one cared. And we knew for the longest time that this was going on, but no one said anything because they didn't want to get involved. And there were real problems that need to be dealt with in real time with real people who care about real issues. For the longest time, I have said that we still play with 20th century issues, and we neglect the 21st century issues. I don't know how long it's going to take us to realize that we're in the 21st century. It may not be for another 10, 15, 20 years. Probably it won't be until the first robot cop knocks on your door and asks for your license and registration.
They're already out.
They're already out.
Yep.
That's right, they are.
Yep.
I was reading the other day that patients are having a hard time getting used to robot orderlies who bring them their medications in certain hospitals. Yep. The first time I saw that, I was in Los Angeles, and it was a trial run, but it looked like a really kind of a Cyclops version of R2-D2.
Yeah.
And it went room and said, I'm here with your medication. A drawer would come out, your medication's sitting there in a cup, you take it, go away. And it was funny because it was going down the hall, and I got in front of it and said, please let me proceed. I need to go and deliver medication. And then it went to the elevator, and this little arm came out and hit the button to go to the floor where it wanted to go. And I was like, well, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is the coolest shit ever. Then, when I got cancer, I found out that I was one of the first patients to have my kidneys cut by a robot.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Da Vinci arms. You've heard of this? You heard of the Da Vinci
I
arms?
have. I read about it.
The doctor, there was a doctor who was from Los Angeles. His name was Shia Danish, but he was a Muslim. He just got back from Afghanistan because he was working on American soldiers, by the way, trying to get them patched up and feeling better. That's why when people tell me that all Muslims kill other people, it's like, well, of course they do. But I know a couple that were basically helping us. One in particular helped me with my partial nephrectomy. But there was a doctor who oversaw the operation. There was another surgeon who, while he was in California, was doing the operation with the Da Vinci arms. And every once in a while, if I go to OHSU for something like the flu, or if I need an antibiotic, or if I need a checkup, every once in a while a doctor comes in and he says, "You're the guy, aren't you?"
You're the guy.
I go, what do you mean? He says, "You're the guy that when I was studying to be a doctor, I sat in the theater and watched them operate on you with the Da Vinci arms." I had no idea. I mean, I don't know if I'd say, "Well, no, you can't operate on me with those damn robot arms. What are you talking about?" But see, that's the thing. The future is what we need to speak of. Think of our future. Why wasn't there any talk about space? But NASA certainly is excited that they found something. They won't tell us what. But they continually tell us, "Oh, there's something out there, there's something out there, there's something out there, there's something out there. Give us money, something out there." Nah, not happening yet. China wants to go to the moon, do we? Nah, not happening. Boeing just come up with new astronaut suits. Are we going anywhere yet? No. But they have the Starliner ready to go. Is it going to fly? No. Why? Not enough money. But we have businesses that want to invest in space. We got the European Space Agency that's already admitted there's life out in space. They've all gone to Antarctica now and they said, "Hey guys, guess what we found under Lake Vostok? Life." Well, who found it? The Russians. Fake news. And see, that's the thing. Don't believe what Russia tells you, but Russia's been, well, Russia was beating us in the space race before. And then when they heard we landed on the moon, they go, "Oh, hell, we're not going to do that. Sorry." They didn't want to be number 2. They didn't even go to the moon. China didn't go to the moon. Nobody went to the moon. We did. Do we want to go now? Nope, been there, done that. Who cares? But then we keep talking about going to Mars. We keep talking about if we don't get off this rock, we're all going to die. But there's a way to remedy that. If you don't want to leave the planet, please pay your carbon tax. And we'll save the planet from global warming. Does it sound stupid?
Yeah.
Yes, it sounds stupid.
Yep.
Do they want to admit that geoengineering is going on? No, they don't. But when I look up in the sky, I see plenty of geoengineering going on with those damn trails in the sky. The EPA acknowledged that they're bad. The EPA said we should investigate them. But what did 98% of all the climate scientists say? Chemtrails are bullshit. I read that in a headline and it just made me just go, what? 98% scientists say chemtrails are bullshit. Who writes that shitty headline? Oh, probably the New York Post. Probably the Washington Post.
It's ignorance.
And I was sitting there saying to myself, no way in hell am I going to let that headline go. I'm not going to let that headline go without me addressing it because I've got information and I will give that information as to how it's being done. And I get people saying, well, I got a friend that's a pilot and that friend tells me that he hasn't ever known of anybody who's spraying. Okay, that sold me. It's like that one guy who called the other night and said, I've been hunting for 30 years. I haven't seen a Bigfoot. They don't exist. I said, has he ever been a bank robbery? He goes, no. Well, I guess they don't exist then. And then I get a Facebook from somebody saying, that's a logical fallacy you just put out there. I go, what? So you're saying that just because he hasn't been in a bank robbery, that they don't happen. But we have evidence. I go, what kind of evidence do you have of a bank robbery? Well, we got video. I go, yeah, inadmissible in court. They don't put video in court. They say it's too grainy and they can't tell what it is. Well, we've got eyewitnesses. I said, yeah, and psychologists say that eyewitnesses are the worst kind of proof. Well, I says, you know what? And even when the bank robberies happen, they have to go to a court of law to prove that the guys who committed the alleged bank robbery did the alleged bank robbery, and sometimes juries say, no, drop charges.
Wow.
Now, if we were to have the same type of criteria for Bigfoot or UFOs or whatever, I understand, but we don't. I mean, you could put a picture of a bear on the internet. It could be like, and you know it's a bear, but you can put it up on the internet and say it's a bear. People say, yeah, bear, wow. You say it's Bigfoot? Fuck off. That's not Bigfoot, that's a fake. Or you could say, hey, I saw some lights, strange lights, maybe drones over Vancouver. Here's a video. Yeah, man, those drones are pretty amazing how they fly around. But if you say, saw some UFOs over Vancouver, fuck off, fake, fake. It's a sport. People don't pay no mind to anything that may be out of their comfort zone. And it's sad because we have created tabloid constructs that we throw some of these mysteries in, and we don't want to hear them because it gets in the way of our political cognitive resonance. We need to hear more about whether or not Donald Trump is bending us over and giving us the high hard one.
Because it doesn't fit in with the Super Bowl.
Right. It's not going to fit in with what the Super Bowl is going to do, and the engineering that they're waiting to do to you tomorrow. I promise you, I'm going to do a show on Tuesday about the Super Bowl. I promise you that if you watch the Super Bowl tomorrow, you're going to see some of the best social engineering that big business wanted to pay for.
Well, you know, I own Frito-Lay, so I'm glad that...
What's Frito-Lay doing?
If I own Frito-Lay, I'm glad the Super Bowl exists.
Right. If you own Frito-Lay, you're glad the Super Bowl exists.
Right.
Also, if you're a pot dealer, you're glad for Frito-Lay. Right?
I'm happy.
And Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah. There you go.
Especially Samoas, man. Those are the best. Frozen, they're awesome. I can't eat them anymore because I'm trying to lose weight. But yeah, check out how social engineering happens. And you'll see that. And, you know, I once, in fact, I even say this. I say that the Super Bowl to me is an oracle for how the rest of the year is going to go. Because, if you look at the commercials and you look at the halftime show, you know, you can see the symbolism, because they love to get down into that symbolism that speaks to your subconscious mind. You know, I remember when Katy Perry came out on that beast. She rode that beast. And she was like the Lady of Babylon. I'm coming out, I'm the Lady of Babylon. I'm so fucking cool. And I'm like going, Jesus, man, they're blatant here, aren't they? When Madonna came out, she wore that crown and sat on the throne, and she's doing this with her fingers. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's Baphomet. Look at Baphomet up there singing her little song. And everybody's going, it's just a Super Bowl halftime, man. Why do you have to ruin that shit? Sorry, I just see it because it's like, you know, I've studied the occult for years, and I see the symbolism that they want to do. What really gets me, though, is this whole Illuminati. It's all the Illuminati. Illuminati this, Illuminati that. And I'm like going, okay, good. You go and play in your little Illuminati world. Sometimes I think when they're doing the Illuminati stuff, it's a lemonati, pretty much. It's a lemon, you know. They think they know a little. It's like when people say false flag. That's a false flag. Didn't happen. False flag. I go, do you know what a false flag is, asshole?
Right.
False flag means that something happened. It's just that those who you think committed the crime didn't. That maybe it was your government that did it, and then they threw it on some other patsy and said that he did it. That's what a false flag is. A false flag is going into Ukraine and saying that we're siding with the good guys, when in reality we're making pacts with Nazis. That is what a false flag is. A false flag is where you go in and pretend like you're from Iran or Iraq, and then you blow up something and then take off and then change it back to the American flag. That's called false flag. That was the original meaning of false flag. Going under with the colors of the enemy to make something happen and then remove the colors of the enemy and replace them with yours. That is what a false flag is. And I always end up being told that I'm a gatekeeper for the New World Order if I point this shit out. Well, if I'm a gatekeeper for the New World Order, then why am I standing in a bar here talking to you?
Right.
I'm talking to you because I give a shit. I'm talking to you because I'm not getting paid elaborate sums of money because the truth doesn't pay the bills. Never has. And people who are into the deep state cover, they want to make people like me disappear. And they want to make people that are out there trying to show you. They want to silence them. They want to shut down their websites. They want to shut them down off the radio so they can't speak. It's happened to me twice in the last month.
Sorry to hear that.
Twice in the last month.
That is true.
You're a great guy. You know, you're a great guy. You know that? You argue well. What's that?
They want to shut you up.
Of course they do.
Yep.
Yeah,
Of course they do.
I agree. You have a differing opinion, they want to shut you up.
Yes, they do. And it's hard. And that's why you have to vote with your support. You have to vote with your dollar. You have to vote with your attendance here. And I know you guys do every day. And those who are seeing me on YouTube right now, I mean, you know, for some of you, you don't know who I am. For some of you think I'm a big blowhard and I don't, you know, and I understand. I do. Because I do come off being a blowhard sometimes. But in reality, I give a shit.
We know you care.
I care. I do. I really care. Believe it or not, I care.
We know you do.
I'm bionic. Believe it or not, I care. That was something, believe it or not, I care, was something that in high school.
I'm bionic.
I'm bionic. Believe it or not, I care.
You put your ass on the line every night.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, sometimes I do. I don't think all the time I put my ass on the line, but you know, it's a thankless job sometimes for people who want to tell you this is the way it is.
Especially if you
Because the truth shall set you free, but it'll piss you off in the process.
and you get death threats.
I get them too.
Yeah.
I get them too, and I hate to talk about that, but yeah, sometimes. I got these two guys. I have 2 or 3 that write me and tell me how much they hate me every day because they think that's going to break my spirit. No, it's not going to break my spirit at all, not in any way. What would break my spirit is knowing that I'd have to sleep with myself at night if I'm not doing my part. And you know, and sometimes, and I'll be honest, sometimes when I do my shows, I know something is happening, but I'm afraid to give the whole truth because it's not that I'm holding back anything, it's just I find creative ways to bring it to you.
Right.
I find creative ways where you're going to have to read through the lines and see exactly what I'm saying. Yeah,
Thank you.
you bet.
Very good at that.
Thank you. I do that because if I just came right out and told you that leadership in your country are creating pedophile rings and abusing children and doing human trafficking, you'd look at me and you'd say, oh, that's bullshit. But then everybody comes up with this idea called Pizzagate 2 days after I do 3 shows about human trafficking within Washington, and the Franklin cover-up, which you can look that up, happened during the George W. Bush administration, or George H.W., not W, but George H.W. Bush administration. Talked about that. I had somebody on my show who said that he was an abuse victim. He said that he was involved with so many things. He talked about his crimes. I had people putting on my Facebook page that they were going to stop listening unless I called the FBI and turned this guy in. I wrote back and I said, he's already been in jail because he was abused and then he committed crimes. So I know what I'm doing. I'm telling you the truth. I'm showing you the underbelly, the ugly underbelly that's happening. And just because I don't jump on board and say Pizzagate this and Pizzagate that, because I have no proof that Comet Ping Pong has a dungeon in it where they're taking little kids in there, they think that I'm holding something back. Well, I didn't hold a damn thing back. In fact, you can go back three days before Comet Ping Pong. I had 3 shows about people who were abducted and taken away by these dark entities in the deep state.
Hey, Clyde,
And they didn't have to be Democrat or Republican. They're both. What?
as I recall, years ago, you had helped shut down some pedophile rings in Europe or something?
In Thailand.
Thailand.
You're right.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yay.
Well, hey, Clyde, also, since I have a moment, I'd like to offer you a pre-birthday happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, our sweet Clyde. Happy birthday to you. And thank you, God. And thank you, Clyde.
Thank you.
You make so many people's lives so enriched. We've had a long journey. And
Yes.
I have some birthday gifts.
Oh, she brought me birthday gifts. Well, I'll open them later.
Yeah, and I got something in for Janine here.
Okay, I hope Janine comes back. She had to go and take care of Liam for a little while. Go ahead and have Ron have.
Chuckle.
I'll get a chuckle.
You will get a chuckle.
Will I get a big chuckle or a little chuckle?
Major. One is that cup I bought years ago Ground Zero Media, your cup?
You bought a cup?
Damn right I did.
Okay.
And then I found out this
It was cheap. It was made in Thailand. Just kidding. No.
I don't care. However, I was really pissed to find out, because, you know, I'm a supporter of yours for years,
Yeah.
that you only made a couple bucks, and I think I paid 15, 16 bucks. I bring you the cup back.
You're bringing it back?
To you.
Okay. I mean, you can have it.
No.
Is it an old cup? Is it an old classic cup? Because I had old classic
Oh,
cup.
it's not the shut the fuck cup.
It's not the shut the fuck up.
No, it's the other
Say
one.
that again, Terry. Say it again.
Shut the fuck up. I say that a lot.
Give her a big hand.
Hey, Clyde?
Yes.
Okay. And if people really want to laugh, you know, talking about semantics, go to Google and do this. It's hilarious. All caps. F.U.C.K. It's from Germany or Europe. It will make you laugh. It's about 2.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you,
origin-
Terry.
I know about that.
Thank
The
you.
origin of the
You're
word.
fucking great. Thank you, sweetheart.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, one other thing. One other thing,
Always
Terry.
one other thing.
Okay,
This
one
is-
other thing.
This is a personal plug.
Okay.
You know, I've been working on my new edition for years.
Your book?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 weeks is ready to be printed. I'm going to send you a copy, and I would really like you to interview me. You're in my book.
I'm in your book.
Damn right. You remember? You helped me with hidden messages?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
All righty.
I'll think about having you on.
Clyde.
Be great. Thank
What are you going to do?
Okay, I'll do. I'll do. You bet. Thank you so much. How are we doing on time? Am I doing all right?
Yeah.
Where are we at now?
You got about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, so if we got 10 minutes, I'm going to shut the fuck up for a little bit, and I want to know if anybody has anything they would like to ask, or if there's anything on their mind that I'm not touching on right now. Anything? Anyone?
Peace and tranquility.
Peace and tranquility. Yeah, I love that. Sleep. That's what I need. What's that? Oh, he's raising his hand. Go ahead.
Hey, Clyde.
Yes.
I'm a little behind on this. What exactly is Pizzagate? I really don't know.
Pizzagate. You don't know what Pizzagate
I've
is?
heard you talk about it a few times.
I spoke of it a little bit. Pizzagate, if you remember when WikiLeaks was sending out their emails, John Podesta and his brother and others, there was a group on Reddit that were saying that they were using pizza as a code for pedophilia. And they were saying that there was this place called Comet Ping Pong. There was a pizza place in Washington. It was owned by a sexual deviant guy. And this basically proved that they were having some sort of a pedophile jamboree going on in this pizza place. And what it eventually led to was a guy showing up with a gun, saying he wanted to investigate the situation, but he shot up the place with a gun. So rather than, because I had no proof, and I sent people out to try and figure this thing out, and while there were so many people out there that wanted to nail it to the wall and say, oh, this is happening, we got the exclusive, we had Dave Schurter on the program, and he said that it was going on, and he even implicated Donald Trump, which I went, you know, because everybody's pointing to John Podesta, and they're pointing to Bill Clinton and Epstein and all these people that were involved with some sort of a pedophile ring. And I was talking about the Franklin cover-up, I was talking about Bohemian Grove, I was talking about all these things. I said, look, beyond Pizzagate, and it wasn't even called Pizzagate then. We did the show, and then they talked about spirit cooking. That ritual, they were talking about spirit cooking, I'm going, whoa. And remember, Ron, I was saying, I can't believe this. It's almost as if, you know, out of the blue, I started talking about this, and it's almost as if it was supposed to be talked about because it started falling into place. And I said, wow, they're gonna find something on these people. And then Pizzagate happened, and I'm thinking, should I jump on board and say, ha ha ha, we were talking about this before? No, I backed off, and I wanted to see if anything would transpire. All it was code words and speculation and everything. And I said, while I know that there's a lot of crap going on in Washington and a lot of bad shit going on with trafficking of people and drugs and everything else, I don't know if it's happening with Podesta and all these other people. I don't know. I don't have proof. But think about it. It happens. It happens all the time. It's happened for a long time. Bohemian Grove is no picnic where men get together and play poker. Okay? They don't play poker there. Yeah. Or chess, right? It's like, what did Dixon say? He said, I didn't want to shake any hands with anybody who was at Bohemian Grove because he didn't know where they'd been. Pretty much.
How is Marina Abramovich tied into all this?
Who? Abramovich?
Abramovich, yeah.
She's the artist that was performing these ceremonies. And, you know, she, no doubt about it. I mean, this stuff is a cult ceremony. I mean, the idea of making cakes out of human semen and blood and eating them, those are spirit cakes. Those are, you know, those are ritualistic cakes. And these are the things, I mean, they bring out cakes that are in the shape of human bodies and they cut them open and eat them. Because it's in ritual. It's a ritual. We're not eating real people, but we're pretending to. You know? But we're doing it in a perverted way.
It's creepy.
Yes?
Anunnaki.
Anunnaki?
The Anunnaki, do you think they went away, or are those bloodlines still kind of flowing through the power elite?
So they tell us the bloodlines flow through the power elite, and they will basically tell you that their genealogies go all the way back to Jesus, and that's why they're royals. And I say, how does it go back to Jesus? You know, because that would mean that Jesus didn't die on the cross. If Jesus didn't die on the cross, then Christianity is what? Non-existent. So what that does is that destroys Christianity. That's why if you look at a royal and a royal's saying, hey, my blood's better than your blood, because my blood goes all the way back to Joseph of Arimathea, goes all the way back to whatever, goes all the way back to Jesus, you have to say to yourself, wait a minute. No. But, you know, look at people like Prince Charles, look at people like Prince William, and, you know, watch what happens when the Queen dies. Watch what happens when the Queen dies. See who gets the throne after that, and see what name they take. It won't be King Charles, and it won't be King William. I bet it'll be King Arthur. And if it is King Arthur, they're here to save the kingdom, because it's under attack. And with the European Union and the Brexit and all that, I think they're worried. You leave it? Janine just got here. She's over there. She's in the back. Who's in the back? Yeah, go back and talk to Janine.
Okay, I have to go though after.
Okay, sure. All right. Who? Oh, Terry's right, you're here?
Well, I can't drive right now.
Oh, okay. Well, go say hi to Janine. Any other question? Anything else?
Yeah, I wonder if, would you respect any president and actually acknowledge them,
Yes.
whether you disagree or not,
Yes.
and
Yes.
say they are
Yes.
the president?
They are the president, but there's one thing as a journalist that you should do, is that is keep the empire honest. And that's what I try to do. So if the president,
Well,
if the
as a
president does
journalist-
something,
As a journalist, you gotta be honest,
yes,
both,
yes, that's true.
and you can report
Yes,
actually honestly,
yes.
and then you can make determinations.
Well, I don't have to take sides. I can just call it like it is.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Good. That's
We
what I-
don't see that anymore,
No, we don't. We don't see that.
and that's a shame.
Yeah. You're right.
You know, we need to get back to what you do.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
I mean, seriously.
Thank you for coming out, too. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your passion, too. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller. Bueller.
Bueller.
Yes, you.
Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller.
No, nothing?
Is Ferris Bueller here?
Okay.
Ferris Bueller.
It's over. We're almost done.
Ferris Bueller.
Do you think the archons of the Gnostic religion or sect have anything to do with the bloodlines of today?
I don't know if it goes that far back. I mean, the whole idea of the Gnostics talking about the archons and the demiurge, that's the basic religious belief. I mean, talking about whether or not the earth was made out of chaos that was sometimes formed into, or it's organized from, you know, from out of chaos comes order, that kind of thing. That's old Hermetic Arcanum. That's old Gnostic. So, you know, depends on what you think the archons are. You know, what you define the archons as, and whether or not they're here. Yeah, of course. If if they're here to create chaos, there's plenty of chaos in the world to be created. And right now you're going to see a lot of it. There's going to be a whirlwind of chaos happening in the world. And that's how it's going to happen.
Is that the CIA's motto, order of chaos?
Yes. Order up cow? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Anyone? Anyone?
Light workers and dark workers.
Light workers and dark workers, that's right. Well, I want to let you all know this. Thank you for coming out to the Ground Zero Lounge tonight. We have some merchandise back here for sale. My book is available. If you'd like to buy a copy of my book, we've got plenty of books back there. We have a few t-shirts back there. We're going to be at Wizard World Comic-Con coming up on the 17th. So if you want to come out and hang out with all the pop culture people, I'll be there. I'll have my own table. Come by and say hi. In the meantime, a lot of other activities we're going to be planning. The Ground Zero University is going to be happening too. We're going to bring some special speakers. Tracy Twyman, Sweeney, Anthony Patch is going to be speaking at the Ground Zero University, and that's going to be a big draw for everybody. We'll give you details on the show. Remember to listen on KXL from 7 to midnight every Monday through Friday, and we have the best stuff going right now on KXL too. Thank you so much for coming out to the Ground Zero Lounge. We'll see you next time.